Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Pokondre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia. For Liberia, Liberia. For Liberia, yeah, 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 yeah. From Monday to Sunday. From Monday to Sunday. It's focus on Liberia. Talk about home affairs. Hey. In diaspora. Current affairs. Reliable information. History. Talking about culture. Politics. Education. Entertainment. Business. Sports. Advertisement. Articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday. Focus on.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jack.
And I am Anthony C.A., and welcome to Focus on Liberia. This is the hour of politics, and I am excited to be here. There is a serious political battle going on in the House of Representatives, and I thought to do my usual thing by providing analysis on the whole situation that has been happening at the House of Representatives. Of course, this is Focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. This analysis is intended to provide the necessary education and give a comprehensive analysis of the battle to remove Speaker J. Fonati Koffa. We, in this analysis, will do a lot of things, and that is why I am encouraging you right now to stay here and also share the broadcast with somebody who can be part of why we be and indeed comprehensive, balanced, and thorough analysis that will give you a unique picture of what is happening at the House of Representatives. In this particular analysis, I will summarize the battle to remove Speaker J. Fonati Koffa. I will also tell you who is Councillor Jeniton Fonati Koffa. I will give you his entire life story. I will also talk about whether he has been able to execute his responsibility as the Chief Oversight Officer of the Republic of Liberia / Speaker of the House of Representatives. I will also talk about legislative politics being a partisan politics, whether Fonati has been able to do well in that regard. And I will also contrast that with an example between the Republican Party of the United States and the Democratic Party. I will also talk about whether or not Fonati has been able to maintain his base, the political institution that made him speaker. I will also talk about whether the majority bloc of the House of Representatives, talking about the bloc that trying to remove him, actually is up to the task and whether or not they will succeed. I will also talk about whether Fonati has taken anything for granted for which he's got into trouble. So many things I have to do in this analysis. And like I said, it's going to be fair, it's going to be balanced, and it's going to be comprehensive. So we will now go into the analysis immediately after this, and stay tuned.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
And again, Anthony see here, Focus on Liberia, the hour of politics. Let's go into the analysis on the topic, analysis of Speaker Fonati Koffa's removal battle. First of all, let us get to know who is Fonati Koffa, the man who is serving as the Speaker of the 55th Legislature. Who is he? We need to know who Fonati is. We want to know where he was born. We want to know about his family. We also want to know about his accomplishment and his education and all that. So the question is, who is Fonati Koffa? Many of you might have heard the name Fonati Koffa, his speaker, and that all you know. And you may have heard other things, but you don't have a comprehensive, story of who the man Fonati Koffa is. So who is Fonati Koffa? Fonati Koffa, who goes with the name Councillor J. Fonati Koffa, is actually Janitor Fonati Koffa. His middle name Fonati is his given name given to him by his father. Fonati, meaning wait for your time, is crew. Fonati is a son of Sastan. In other words, he's from a place in Grand Crew County called Sastan. So he and President Weah share the same town called Sastan in Grand Crew County. I am also a son of Sastan from Grand Crew County. Fonati Koffa was born about 1964. That was when he was born. He is a Liberian lawyer and a politician. He has been serving as Speaker of the House of Representatives since 2004. So he got elected as Speaker of the 55th House of Representatives in this year, and has been serving as Speaker ever since then. Let's talk about his political appointments. Before that, in 2016, Jonathan Fonati Koffa was appointed by then President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf as Minister of State without portfolio and Special Prosecutor on the Sabin Manning bribery scandal. So Fonati at one point served as Minister of State without portfolio. He was also appointed as a Special Prosecutor in the Sabin Manning bribery scandal that have involved Speaker Tyler and Senator Vanny Sherman, that which led to the the resignation of then Speaker Tyler at the time. Let's talk about his legal career. Fonati is the founder and former managing partner of the International Law Group. That is a law firm that he has established, and he has been practicing law since 1997. So since 1997, Fonati has been practicing law. He practiced law both in Liberia and in the United States, where he earned his law degree. Fonati was admitted in the Supreme Court Bar of the Republic of Liberia with distinction. He also, he was the valedictorian of the graduating class during that time. Let's talk about his legislative, accomplishment or his work at the legislature. In 2017, the House of Representatives elected Fonati Koffa, as in 2017, Fonati Koffa was elected as representative for the first time on the Liberty Party's ticket. And Fonati Koffa is representing the 2nd electoral district in Grand Croix County. So he got elected as representative for the first time on the Liberty Party's ticket. He was a member of the Liberty Party. He had previously served as chairman of the Liberty Party. So he was also chairman of the Liberty Party. In August of 2018, Fonati then switched party affiliation from the Liberty Party to the CDC. So it was in 2018 that he left the Liberty Party and joined the CDC. Koffa was first appointed to the chairmanship of the Judiciary Committee of the 54th of National Legislature. He was a member of the Committee on Elections and Inauguration, as well as the Committee on Human Rights and Civil Rights. He was the acting chairperson of the Grand Croix Legislative Caucus of the 54th Legislature. So you see, Fonati, talking about the leadership in the House of Representatives, at some point he was chairman on the Judiciary Committee, and he was also a member of the Committee on Election and Inauguration. And not only that, he became the chairperson of the Grand Croix Legislative Caucus in the House of Representatives. Fast forward, in January of 2021, Koffa was elected Deputy Speaker in the House of Representatives. This time it was the 54th Legislature. In 2023 election, Koffa won re-election under the CDC banner. This time in 2023, he ran on the ticket of the CDC and won his seat in Grand Croix County, representing again the 2nd electoral district in Grand Croix County. CDC has endorsed him to be speaker, and that is why 2024 he was elected speaker of the 55th legislature. Now you want to know about Fonati's life, his early life. Fonati Koffa, as he is also called, graduated from the Cathedral Catholic High School in 1982. Fonati graduated high school in 1982 from the Cathedral Catholic High School in Monrovia. After acquiring his basic education in Liberia, Fonati traveled to the United States. While in the United States, Koffa enrolled at the Sean University, that is in Raleigh, North Carolina, the USA, where he obtained a bachelor in public administration with cum laude, with emphasis in urban planning at Raleigh, North Carolina State University. He also obtained a master in public administration. Koffa also obtained a juris doctorate, JD, from the University of North Carolina School of Law at the Chapel Hill. So Fonati is highly educated. This man holds a lot of degrees, bachelor in public administration, master in public administration, and JD, which is juris doctorate, that is law. And so Fonati is highly educated. And in the early 2000s, Koffa served as the town manager of the Zebulon, North Carolina, in the United States. He had also served as the town attorney for Roseville, North Carolina. So he also worked in the United States of America. So this man is well experienced. And you want to know, Koffa was born in Liberia, by the way, and Koffa is also married, or Fonati is also married, and he has 3 children. So that is Fonati Koffa, a son of Southstown, Grand Croix County, started his early education in Liberia from the Cathedral Catholic High School. He graduated in 1982, and he came to the United States and started education, obtained his education up to doctorate, a law degree, that's his juris doctorate. And Fonati started practicing law in the United States after working in other areas as well. And not to forget, Fonati got in trouble with the law here in the United States. It was reported Fonati was even convicted, and he served his term for allegedly, not allegedly, but he was convicted. Fonati was guilty of taking clients' money and using it, for his personal, or using the money personally. So he got in trouble. He served his time in the United States for the poor bar decision that he made in the U.S. by eating clients' money as a lawyer. And he later went to Liberia and join the politics of Liberia from the Liberty Party and so on and so forth. So that is Janitor Fonati Koffa, who is our speaker today. So to summarize it, the man is highly educated. This man is very smart. As you saw, and you listened to me, at some point he graduated with distinction, cum laude. This is a very highly intelligent and smart man who knows what he's doing. And in terms of educational qualification and experience, he is well suited to be speaker and a representative. You want a representative who is knowledgeable, smart, educated, and has the experience and understand the war and understand the working of the House of Representatives. So the man is a lawyer, and so he knows what he's doing. Now, when it comes to character, Fonati has made bad decision, and so now he has a second chance. He has to do better. Whether or not he's doing better is one thing I will also touch on in this particular presentation. So do not go anywhere. I will give you a comprehensive analysis of the battle to remove Fonati Koffa. First of all, I thought to give you a comprehensive biography of Fonati Koffa, who the man we're talking about actually is. Now that I've done that, let me summarize the battle for Fonati's removal. Fonati, as Speaker of the House of Representatives, the 54th legislature, is facing removal efforts by 43 members of the House of Representatives. Initially, about 47 members of the House of Representatives signed a resolution seeking the removal of Fonati Koffa. They have declared a vote of no confidence in him, and they don't want him to serve as their speaker. They have their accounts against Fonati Koffa. They say Fonati Koffa is conflicted. There's conflict of interest with Fonati Koffa. Fonati Koffa is a lawyer. He has a law firm, and this law firm is representing businesses in Liberia that are doing business with the Liberian government. So according to them, that is a conflict of interest. Fonati cannot be directly or indirectly a lawyer for business firms in Liberia that are doing business with the Liberian government. So they think that Fonati is getting contracts from the Liberian government while he is serving as an official of government. So on that note, they think he's conflicted and he should be removed. They also accuse Fonati of carrying on unilateral decision. For example, one of the examples they said is that, or they cited, is that at one point, Fonati made a decision to send somebody to ECOWAS as a representative for the 55th legislature. According to them, there was no consultation, there was no vote whatsoever. Fonati made a decision to send somebody to represent Liberia at the ECOWAS Parliament. So they are charging Fonati on that. They are also accusing Fonati of budget mismanagement. They feel that when it comes to the appropriation of the budget, the way the budget is being appropriated, the thing Fonati is selective, and he is, under his leadership, the appropriations that have been done in the House of Representatives, those appropriations have not been done properly. There's so much mismanagement that's going on. Specific example that is cited that is holding Fonati on is a report that there was alteration that was done to the national budget after the budget was ratified by the legislature. The budget was sent back to the executive for the executive to use. It was reported that after that legislative process of passing the budgets were done, there were some changes made to the budget, and they are thinking that Fonati was in the know of that, and Fonati has now been able to hold the executive accountable on what they feel to be a violation of our budget. Truth be told, Fonati constituted a committee. The committee reported and said that, or confirmed that alterations were done to the budget, but Fonati, as head of the legislature, head of the House of Representatives, did not act to hold anyone accountable who actually carried out the alteration to the budget. To alter the budget after the budget has been passed by the national legislature is a criminal offense, it's a crime. So Fonati, as a lawyer, report has established that the budget was altered which is a violation of our law and also a criminal offense. But Fonati did nothing to find out who actually carried on the alteration and also to ensure a leadership that will bring or that person to both to hold the person accountable. Fonati did not do that. He only released a report to confirm that there was alteration done to the budget, a violation of the budget law and the criminal offense, and that's all Fonati did. So they are saying, well, this man is not up to the task. He's not prepared to hold the executive accountable. He's not prepared to be accountable, and so on and so forth. Many things they accuse Fonati of, but I just want to state those two just because of time. Now, another thing that we want to talk about on the political side is that we are aware that about 10 or 11 members of CDC in the House of Representatives who joined those who are opposition or representative to the CDC to sign this resolution. We want to know, what are those citizens who signed the resolution, even in the anti-Fonati bloc, who want to see Fonati Koffa removed as speaker, even though they and Fonati Koffa share the same political party. What do they have to say about Fonati? What are their reasons, or what is their fundamental reason with Fonati? Those citizens, those members of CDC who are in the House of Representatives, who voted, and also, not only that they have voted, are continuing their fight against Fonati to be removed. Why are they doing so? They believe that Fonati Koffa is not holding the executive branch of government accountable. Fonati is an opposition in the House of Representatives. They believe that Fonati Koffa's responsibility is to hold the executive branch of government accountable. They believe that Fonati is not doing so. Now, if you ask me for my opinion, whether Fonati is doing what he's supposed to do as an opposition speaker or lawmaker in the House of Representatives, his role there is to hold the executive branch accountable. Now, the fact is, representatives, senators, lawmakers in the legislature or in parliament have three major roles to play in the governance structure of our country. Those three are lawmaking, representation, and oversight. If you ask me which one is key among them for the sake of argument and for the sake of the analysis, I would say to you, or all of the three cardinal responsibilities that they are constitutionally mandated to execute as lawmakers, oversight is key, because oversight is tied to accountability. Oversight is tied to what you call transparency, and oversight is tied to ensuring the effectiveness and governance process of the country. So if Fonati wants to be a speaker who ensures that there is transparency, who ensures that there is accountability, who ensures that there is fairness in the process, that responsibility that he needs to execute to the letter is the responsibility of providing oversight. And so someone may be asking me in the question, what is oversight? And I will say to you, when we are talking about oversight as a legislative function or as a duty or a mandate of a lawmaker, let alone a speaker who is the head of the legislature and also the House of Representatives, that oversight means or is that they as lawmakers oversee the executive branch of government to ensure two things: accountability and transparency in the operations of the executive branch of government. In other words, they are there to check that the executive branch of government is governing the country, adhering to the rule of law, and is not abusing power, and is not violating the laws of Liberia. And that when they find any abuse of power, violation of our laws, as the first branch of government, they are to call the executive branch of government to check that there is a violation here. There is no clarity here. We see darkness in this particular policy. There's no transparency here in this government. We don't know what you're doing, how you're doing it, and for what or why are you doing this? We don't know. That is the role of the first branch of government, the legislative branch of government, and also the House of Representatives. That is one of their key responsibilities. The one that ensures that governance is done fairly, effectively, and that governance meets the needs and aspiration of the country is the duty to provide oversight on the executive branch of government. Has Fonati been up to the task as mandated by the Constitution? The power given to him to execute oversight? My answer is no. Fonati has been ignoring the violations that have been carried on by this government. Fonati has not been able to call the executive branch of government to a check on the abuse of power, on the violation of our law, and also on the executive branch of government failure to adhere to the rule of law. For example, when it was established by Fonati investigation that the budget was altered, that alteration, part of it was done by the executive branch of government. Deputy Finance Minister Anthony Myers appeared at the legislature and knowingly and unknowingly admitted that there was alteration done to the budget, and the Ministry of Finance were part of that alteration, the violation of our law and the criminal offense. Fonati did absolutely nothing. That one instant. Instant number two, Lafayette Giddings is the Minister of Public Works. Somehow the executive branch of government secured a $22 million, according to their internet, for road rehabilitation / no cost get stuck in the mud operation. Any money secured either through loan or whatever means by the executive branch of government must be taken to the first branch of government, the legislature, for ratification. The legislature must be in the know of any money because they are responsible for appropriation of budget, of money in the country. The executive branch of government cannot spend a penny that the lawmakers do not bless or do not give approval to. You can't do it. To do so is a violation of the rule of law. Most so, a violation of our public financial laws. So the executive branch got the money, and the Ministry of Public Works talked about it, and the legislature had no input, and they start spending the money. That was a violation of our public procurement laws. And in fact, the minister admitted that in the securing of the funds and even the use of the funds, they did not follow all of the laws required in the country. Public procurement, public financial laws, they did not follow that. So they violated our procurement laws. They violated our public financial laws. And also they failed to adhere to what we call the separation of powers. They get the money, the legislature must know about it before they can spend the money. There was no due diligence done, and the Public Works Minister admitted, and he was only asked to apologize. Fonati did not hold the executive branch of government accountable. On the issue of turning position, the judiciary branch of government, the Supreme Court ruled that the executive branch of government was in complete error for the manner in which they were booting out turning positions in the country. So that was a judgment against the executive branch of government. Yet, the executive branch of government changed tactics, removed those people through other means, through a bogus investigation and corruption scanner, and they got them out of there, just to replace them with its own appointees. Again, That was a violation of the rule of law in the country. Fonati did absolutely nothing. Fonati did not hold his ground. Fonati did not provide the necessary oversight. And what we saw was this very Fonati, who should be checkmating the executive branch of government, the president of the Republic of Liberia. We saw him on a tour to Rome with President Joseph Yamambwaka to do what I don't know. According to Fonati, that was one in a lifetime opportunity to see the Pope. Fonati actually is Catholic. 99.9% of Southern people are Catholic. The Catholic church that you see in Liberia today was started in Southern Grand Crew County. That is the fact. The first church to be planted in Liberia by the Catholic Church were planted in Southern. So 99.9% of Southern people are Catholic. It may have changed now because people have traveled and so on and so forth. So Fonati is a Catholic, just as I was a born Catholic. So if Fonati wants to go to Rome to see the Pope, he who is a Catholic, he has to follow somebody who is a Baptist deacon. Bwaka is Baptist. He's a deacon in a Baptist church. It is the man you are following who is not a Catholic. You are a Catholic. You hold a consequential position in the land. The third person in the Liberian government. President, vice president, speaker. That is your role. And you happen to be a Catholic. Your position alone is a ticket for you to go and see the Pope. And you are telling us you could not see the Pope on your own accord, instead to go with President Bwaka? What is Fonati looking for is the next question I want to ask. What does he want from President Bwaka? His responsibility is to provide oversight and hold the executive branch of government accountable, to hold President Bwaka accountable, to provide the necessary checkpoints, to provide the necessary checkmate, to be able to provide the necessary oversight on the operations of the executive branch of government. In the operation of the executive branch of government, there have been series of constitutional violations when it comes to public procurement, violation when it comes to our public finance law. Every violation, a lot of violations, so to speak, to put it right, have been committed by the executive branch of government, and the speaker, whose key responsibility is to provide oversight, has not been able to provide the necessary oversight. To provide oversight as a lawmaker, as a speaker, is the best and most effective way of ensuring that there is governance done that meets the needs of the Liberian people. And that, in my judgment, in my evaluation, Fonati has failed. I believe that Fonati has willfully, for some reason, allowed all of the violations to go on in the name of quote-unquote maintaining the peace and stability in Liberia. I 100% disagree with Fonati. Now, whether or not these are legitimate reasons for Fonati removal is a debate. Are the reasons legitimate enough? Yes, the reasons are 100% legitimate. Are they actually removing him or seeking to remove him because of the legitimate reasons? No. The only reason they are removing him is because of their own personal, selfish, and greedy interests. They are just using these legitimate reasons as a kind of public relations strategy on their behalf to remove Fonati Koffa. But again, the reasons are legitimate. Fonati himself admitted that he's not a perfect man, that he's made mistakes. So he had made some mistakes. He knows some things. There are some inaction on his part. There are significant reasons for his colleagues to say we don't want you. In fact, in legislative politics, they can get out today to say, well, we don't want you, we don't like you. It may be a reason for them because he is their leader. They must want him for him to serve as their leader. However, we are a country of law. We have a constitution. They even have their own rules in the House of Representatives that they must follow. Liberia should not and is not a country of men, but a country of law. And so If they want to remove Fonati, they must be able to meet the threshold set aside by their own rules. You must have 2/3 of the members of representative that will sign a resolution to remove the speaker. In other words, you must have 49 members out of the 73 to be able to remove a speaker. They don't have that. And so legally and constitutionally speaking, they don't have all it takes to remove Fonati Koffa on the legal terms. Even though the accounts might be legitimate, it's just that they are devious about it, they are insincere about it. It's because these people, they are not getting probably what they want. And their whole idea that, oh, we want to remove Fonati because he's breaking order, that is a bluff. It's not because of that. So, because if you are breaking audit, Fonati served as deputy speaker during the CDC time. I believe it was in 2001 when Fonati got elected as deputy speaker. So he was deputy speaker for a very good time, about 4 years or so. So if any audit is done, that audit will also implicate Fonati. Yeah, being well. During the CDC administration, millions of dollars, about $89 million or so, being used or channeled through the national NSA, the National Security Agency, on a quote-unquote covert operation. If I'm not mistaken, about 89 million United States dollars being used for covert operation in Liberia. And here's the thing: what kind of covert operation they're talking about? This is how these people some millions of dollars on dubious covert operation. I mean, during President Weah's time, was there any assassination threat on his life? Did we have Al-Qaeda? Did we have Hezbollah? Did we have any terror organization that was threatening Liberia? Did we have any foreign nation or a neighbor that wanted to overthrow or launch a rebellion in a country? Or did we have any of our neighbors trying to overthrow? Nothing whatsoever. We had a peaceful country. There was no threat. There was nothing such a rebel group. There was no military opposition whatsoever to President Weah. So for them to have used about $89 million on quote-unquote dubious covert operation, that was a kind of way to justify how they had some phone several millions of dollars and trying to justify it and use that money for their own aggrandizement. And so Fonati was part of the legislative leadership that have approved this kind of money for President Weah or the executive branch of government to use at will. At one point, the legislature approved a $20 million budget for the Ministry of Presidential Affairs. And during that time, that very legislature approved, I believe it was about $60 or $80 million for the judicial branch of government. The Ministry of Presidential Affairs is just a ministry under the executive branch of government. So a ministry under the executive branch of government got $20 million for its operation. And yet a branch of government, which having to be the judiciary, just got in that budget $18 million. So just a branch under the executive was appropriated more money than an entire branch of government, the judiciary branch of government. So there were so many dubious allocations, questionable allocations that were made when Fonati was speaker. So if any audit is to be done on the 54 legislature, there is no way the man who served as deputy speaker is going to come out clean. Now, to nail this further, Fonati said, and I quote, that in the House of Representatives, the way they have approved the budget or done the allocations has been that the House of Representatives, through its Ways, Means, and Finance, will send that committee to room 1026 at a hotel And they will pick up the phone and start calling line ministries and agency heads, soliciting money from them that they were getting paid before they could approve the budget of any ministry or agency or corporation in Liberia. Fonati is a lawyer who is confessing to a criminal offense in a live interview. Hello? The speaker is telling us that when he served as deputy speaker, that was what they did. A criminal act. He's confessing and exposing and revealing that in a national interview. And so, should Fonati be speaker with this kind of revelation? I can tell you this much. There are so much good reasons why Fonati should not be speaker. This revelation alone that he is not exempted from is more reason for him not to be speaker. But the fact is, we have laws. And if they are seeking to remove him, and they too have been part and parcel of all of these dubious dealings in the House of Representatives, they are not as good as Fonati. So their call for his removal, that's their right. But how does that serve the interests of the nation Liberia? Lawmakers should be debating budgets. Lawmakers should be going to their constituents and explaining to them the laws that they're passing, the budgets that they're passing. They have no budget debate whatsoever. They tell their Ways and Means Finance Committee to solicit funds from the executive branch of government before they can approve the budget and put the money in their pocket. That is what they've done. They are as equally guilty as Fonati. This is a crime that they all have been part of. So to remove their friend now, be seeking to remove their colleague for something they are all being part of is just laughable. Maybe they're not getting what they want. Even though I maintain it is their right to do so, but it must be done constitutionally and in keeping with their own rules, and they must meet the necessary threshold. So the next question is, should Fonati stand his ground? Or should Fonati do the most honorable thing and resign as others are putting it? Fonati can do either. He can resign and let them have their way. He also reserves the right to say, I am not resigning. And as he said, look, if you get a 49 as required by law, by our own rules, I'm out. No argument whatsoever. But until you have that, I'm not resigning. I'm not going to allow you to suffocate me politically, just for me to relinquish my position and for you to just have your will. What does that leave the country? How does that better the legislature in any way? Because at the end of the day, they were going to elect another person who was going to be speaker, who would not even have the level of education, the level of understanding, the level of experience, all right, who would not be a better speaker and better representation of our country. Somebody who would be despised by foreign nations or by our neighbors because of the person's lack of experience and solid education to hold a consequential position as Speaker of the House of Representatives. If you compare our leaders, the people that lead us today in our country, in terms of their experience and education, with leaders in other parts of Africa, you will come to know that Liberia is the least in terms of putting forth qualified people. It is not that we don't have the qualified people, but we are not giving the preference to our qualified people, either through elections or through appointments. One would have thought that our current president, given experience, will do much better in appointing so experienced and qualified people, but he has doubled down on this useless justification that I have to meet the needs of those that supported me. Really? Is that how you meet the needs of people in Liberia? That is not the way to do it. That is not the way to do it. The way to do it is to appoint qualified and competent people who will represent the interest, who will be your extension. Mr. Bwaka has been this experienced man. Where are the experienced people in his government that he has appointed? And so that is why it was incumbent on Fonati to be able to checkmate. And also the Senate. Who are you confirming to serve in the executive branch of government for us to have an effective, governance in Liberia that meets the needs of our people? Emma Jabate, Enwa Zau Gibson, these are the people you have appointed to serve our country. As though we don't have qualified and competent people. And I will emphasize the word competence here. We do have. Liberians are qualified and competent. You bring it to technology, we there. We bring it to law, you bring it to leadership. We have the best and the brightest who can really serve our country to make us proud and take us to the promised land. But the political actors succumb to the noise makers in their political parties and appoint them into key position, thereby, they strive for innovation, they strive for competence, and they strive for the governing process of our country. And so we have become a stagnated nation in terms of governance and the development. That is sad and that is pitiful. Now, let's go back to the whole issue about Fonati. So, legislative politics is partisan politics. Fonati will be in a better position if he had understood and exhibited partisan politics is necessary in legislative politics. Fonati is from the CDC. He right now should be seen as the leader of the CDC. CDC is the biggest opposition party now in Liberia. Legislative politics is about partisan politics. That's the most effective way to be a legislator. That's the most effective way to be a lawmaker in the house of politics, in the legislature. So President Bwaka is elected. He's not a populist president. What is Fonati looking for with Bwaka, for which he is almost like, he must be in the good graces of President Bwaka in order to succeed as speaker? That is not his business. Fonati seems to be more concerned with the governance of the country than the president of the Republic of Liberia. The way Fonati can play his role effectively to ensure governance in Liberia is to provide oversight and to also be as much partisan as he can be in the legislature or as a speaker, but he is not doing that. Now, let me contrast that with the U.S. so you will get a better understanding and I conclude on that point. The year was 2008. One of U.S. more popular president was elected. His name was Barack Obama. He had a sweeping majority and won one of the consequential landslide elections in the United States of America. A black man, politically charming, he rode on the popular support of college students and the young population of the United States of America. He was celebrated across the world. He was an iconic political superstar. He got elected and his election silenced America. It was something to see. His party swept the House of Representatives and they got the majority. The Republican became the minority. The Republicans were not troubled or deterred or frightened by Obama's popularity or by this populist president at the time. The Republicans care less about that. They have one goal: to hold Obama accountable, to provide oversight and checkmate the executive branch of government, irrespective of the populist or the populist president who was elected in the name of Barack Obama. John Boehner was the minority leader. They stuck it to the Democratic Party despite they having a sweeping majority in the House of Representatives. Their politics were basically partisan. No, 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 no. And the Republican got almost everything that they wanted from the majority in the House, thereby trying to balance the politics of America at the time between conservative policies and the Democratic policies. The Republicans succeeded because they played the partisan politics very well. In the by-election that followed after Obama's election in 2010, the Republicans swept the House of Representatives. John Boehner will become Speaker. Hello? So the way Fonati gets what he wants is to maintain his base, the CDC. Something if he had done, the 11 or 10 citizens who have signed the resolution to remove him will be behind him. Those who are trying to remove him will not have ground whatsoever when it comes to the numbers. John Boehner maintained his ground, so when he stepped forth to be Speaker, he was elected. If you contrast that with other Republicans like McCarthy, he has serious trouble within his own party because he was trying to play middle ground whatsoever. So legislative politics is partisan politics. And the way to succeed is to maintain your base and at the same time try to walk a fine line by hitting the high buttons of governance and accountability and transparency against the executive branch of government. That is the way you threaten the political position of the executive branch of government. And then they will be able to reach a consensus, and then you will get what you want, and you protect yourself. Fonati has failed to do so. Fonati is almost like catering to the executive branch of government, going with Bouaka, being friend of President Bouaka. So why would Bouaka take you serious if you usher yourself to him as a lamb who is prepared to be sacrificed? Today, Fonati does not have all the members of CDC behind him. So Fonati has contributed to what he's going through today. So let him cry his own cry right now. Because if he has maintained his base, the CDC, those very 10 or 11 lawmakers voted for him as Speaker. They are not with him now because they felt that he abandoned the base. And the base that got him where he is. They first elected him as Deputy Speaker in the 54th. He enjoyed their confidence that time. They went again and elected him as Speaker in the 55th. And now he's want to worry about, the governance of the executive branch of government. The way you do it is to checkmate, is to provide oversight on the executive dealings, to ensure that the operation of the executive, the operations are transparent. But Fonati is not doing that. He's playing a laissez-faire, he has adopted a laissez-faire approach on the executive branch of government. He has significantly, politically, and consequentially contributed to what he's going through today. The only way Fonati can survive right now is to strike a deal with those CDC lawmakers, about 10 of 11, who are supporting him. When he succeeds with that, he gets the majority back. He remains Speaker. Simple. So he has contributed to this significantly. Now, the other thing we want to talk about is who can save Fonati and what would be the right course of action for Fonati. Politically speaking, two persons can save Fonati. Of the two that can save Fonati, let me name the two persons. President Weah and President Bwaka can save Fonati. President Bwaka can talk to the Unity Party lawmakers to stand down. If all will not stand down, some will stand down. The majority bloc will diminish, and Fonati will gain the majority. President Weah can call the 10 or 11 CDC lawmakers or representatives who are against Fonati today to stand down. Even if all will not stand down, let's say 5 stand down, Fonati gets the majority back. Fonati remains speaker. Those are the 2 persons that can save Fonati. But where should Fonati go, politically speaking? If Fonati wants to be saved, the best place for Fonati to go is Fonati to go to President Weah and to go back to his party and seek reconciliation with his party, for the party to call those 11 or 10 lawmakers, representatives to order. Let them have a reconciliatory talk. Let them make consensus. Politics is about making good deals. Strike a deal with them. Once that 10 or 11 or come home, Fonati gains the majority. Fonati is speaker. Why should he go to CDC and not go to President Bwaka? The reason is, remaining with your party will maintain his standing against the Unity Party's president. And the way Fonati can get what he wants from the executive branch of government is when he maintains a majority in the House of Representatives. If he has the majority behind him, the executive branch of government will be compelled to always reach a compromise with him to get what they want. So Fonati will more than likely get whatever he wants. He does not need to be in the good graces of the executive branch of government to get what he wants. All he needs, politically speaking, is to have a majority in the House. Because politically speaking, the executive branch of government needs the speaker more than the speaker needs the executive branch of government. Because the speaker can step on anything that the executive wants to do. And it will harm the executive branch of government, politically speaking. Let's say there's some money that the executive branch of government needs to carry on a project that will be popular with the Liberian people, for them to see President Bwaka as delivering the goods. Fonati can step on it. He can delay it, and when President Bwaka does not get the money, things in Liberia will be bad for him. Politically, he will not have a standing. So the way Fonati gets what he wants from President Bwaka is to maintain a majority, hold President Bwaka accountable, and provides the necessary oversight to put the president in line. And when the president feels threatened, the president will be compelled to do the right thing, and the Liberian people will benefit. That is the way this speaker can ensure governance. The law is clear. Our constitution is clear. The separation of powers, very clear. The judiciary branch of government, not the judiciary, the first branch of government, which is the legislature, you make laws that are in the interest of the people. You provide representation. You represent the interests of the people. You ensure that there is significant money in the budget for education, for healthcare. You ensure that our colleges are well funded. You ensure that civil servants take pay and that they have benefits. That's the way you do it. Anything outside of that is a big problem. Yeah, I'm lying. I'll talk to you later. Yeah. So that is the way Fonati should operate. But Fonati is not doing that. This is a very intelligent and smart, experienced man. I don't understand what he's up to here. And if you look at it politically further, CDC holds the largest voting bloc in the country. So what is Fonati looking for with President Bwaka? I don't get it. The election that just passed that President Bwaka won, the votes that separated the CDC and the Unity Party is about 18,000 votes. Hello? And that 18,000 votes probably might have been moved over to the Unity Party from other parties that supported the Unity Party. So if those parties can leave the Unity Party does not have the majority. See, the majority automatically switches to CDC. So what is Fonati looking for? This is a very simple calculation, politically speaking. The numbers are simple to analyze. Is he doing this because he and President Bouaka are neighbors? Does he see President Bouaka as a father? Is Fonati trying to be traditional, as we do in our hometown of Southtown, that you respect others at all times? Is this what this is? If this is what it is, then it's complete foolishness. Because Fonati, you are not made speaker to play tradition. You are made speaker to provide oversight, to ensure accountability and transparency in the operation of the executive branch of government. You are made speaker by your party so that you will be able to checkmate the executive branch of government. Hello? So, folks, I can't emphasize this thing further. And the question I asked, what should be the right course of action? There are two things Fonati can do. And that will conclude this presentation. Fonati can resign. That would be one thing he can do. It saves us all the time and trouble. That is his choice to make. Fonati can stand his ground. And by the way, Fonati is standing the ground. That's another course of action, because the majority bloc, the so-called majority bloc, does not have the 49 that they need. So Fonati, being a lawyer, say, hey, I'll play by the law here. The rules require 2/3 and 49. Constitutionally speaking, you don't have that number. I'm standing on the side of the law. Fonati did not stop that. Fonati is seeking the intervention of the judicial branch of government. And before I could come live, this is a breaking news. The judicial branch of government has put a stay order on the actions of the so-called majority bloc, that they should not have any session. They should not engage into any legislative or gathering. And that is a decision from the Supreme Court. And I hope these lawmakers are going to abide by that until they can have a conference on the 4th of November. They are to do nothing like assembly or having session whatsoever in their effort to remove Fonati Koffa. So their actions to remove Fonati has been halted. Legally speaking, the judiciary exercise the wisdom to halt their decision, their action, because if anything, they don't have the number, meaning that it has not been done constitutionally. It's their right to do whatever they want, but if it is not constitutional, it's not in keeping with their rules, then of course they must be stopped. They must be stopped. That is why it has been the right thing to do for Fonati to stop the executive or to checkmate the executive for the things the executive have been doing in violation of the laws of Liberia. But that they have not been doing. So to close, I gave you a summary of this whole fight. As we speak, the Supreme Court has played a stay order. The Supreme Court of Liberia has issued a stay order on the action of the majority bloc in the House of Representatives, halting any proceeding until a conference on November 4th, 2024. Speaker Koffa petitioned the judicial branch of government. Speaker J. Fonati Koffa filed a petition challenging the majority bloc attempt to unseat him. Then there's quorum issue. Koffa's leadership has failed twice to reach a quorum, preventing legislative business. He has the support of 30 lawmakers, while the majority bloc has 43. Challenge to the majority bloc. Let's talk about that. Koffa has challenged the majority bloc to secure the support of 49 lawmakers as required to unseat him, and stated he will not resign without that support. Unconstitutional section. The majority bloc has held 2 sessions in joint chambers, which Koffa has dismissed as unconstitutional. He has invited opposing lawmakers to official session to discuss this agreement, but these attempts have failed due to lack of quorum. Pressure on officials. The majority bloc has pressured Deputy Speaker Thomas Fowler, a sedition, the Chief Clerk, Madrin Sale, and the Deputy Chief Clerk to join their efforts, threatening their position and salaries. Look at what they are doing. Supreme Court intervention. In response to the escalating tension, Koffa has sought the Supreme Court's intervention to assess the constitutionality of the majority bloc's action, and a halt has been placed on their action. These guys caught in the same majority bloc, they are getting completely out of hand. They are making Koffa not to even look good. They are threatening to withhold salaries of the clerk and deputy clerk, that they will even lose their job and their salary cease. This is beyond belief. They have already showing greed for power. They are already exhibiting the abuse of power. Because you say you're 43, it gives you right to look at other citizens that you will lose your job and you will not get paid because you are not coming on our side. Is it compulsion? Is it compulsory? To put it right? You can't compare the people. This is beyond belief. So, 2 right courses of action that Fonati can take. He can resign and let these people do what they want to do. He will remain representative and represent the 2nd electoral district in Grand Creek County. Fonati is a lawyer. He has a law firm. He's making money. He will be well off. Some of the lawmakers making this noise, you take the representative position from them. Some of them, or even most of them, will completely be nothing. Because some of them just came here and that's all they have for now. You take it from them, they are nothing. As for Fonati, he has a lot of things going for him. He will remain a representative. That's his job. All right. And he has businesses. He will do well. He's well connected. And so, he can do that. But he can also, as he has chosen, decide to stay on. More than likely, he's seeking reconciliation now with his party, and he can secure that, and he will maintain his position as speaker. On that note, this is how we will come to the end of this presentation. I brought you the topic analysis of Speaker Fonati Koffa's removal battle. I hope I was able to do my best in providing a succinct and comprehensive analysis of the issue. And if I didn't do well, next time I will do better. On that note, the song says, "We are all Liberians," and that song is taking us home. And until I see you again, the name remains Ansonisie, Mransie, and Blossie. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye, and enjoy the song, "We Are Indeed All Liberians." Thank you for watching.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Liberia.